Hello, everyone. Before we begin talking about today's book, I want to remind you that my book of short horror stories, called The Things That Happen at Night, is available at the link in the description for only $3. Also down below, feel free to sign up for my free newsletter. Send those out a couple of times a month, let you know about free horror books and other things. I also have 4 free short horror stories over there on Wattpad. That link is down below. If you want to read them, I'd appreciate it. And on my social media, come join me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. Now let's get on with the video. All right. So the book we're going to be talking about today is a good one. It's called Head Like a Hole by Andrew Van Wey. This one is hard to describe. You know how sometimes you get those books that just don't fit one specific genre or one specific category? This is definitely one of those books. But it's part slasher, almost. It's part slasher, part revenge story, part supernatural story, and part creature feature, with a little bit of sci-fi, dark sci-fi thrown in at the end there. It's one of those that covers all of these things. And at first you might be thinking, well, this book could be a huge mess with all these different elements going on. But this author just puts them all together in a way that it all makes sense. It doesn't feel convoluted. It doesn't feel like it's drifting from the main story at all. It's a very, very good book, and I devoured this one. It's been sitting in my TBR for a while, but it is a newer release. Came out this year, and of course, I highly recommend it. Basically, a man's going out checking his crab traps one day, and inside one of the crab traps, he finds what he thinks is a human female skull, or a human female head, I should say, with a little part of the torso attached. And of course, first he's shocked, but he's even more shocked when her lips start moving and she starts talking to him. He goes to clear her mouth of some obstacles. She bites his finger, and basically, because of that bite, a part of her, a part of what this thing is, this woman creature is now part of him. And it infects his brain. It kind of hypnotizes him of sorts. I guess you can say that. Like I said, it's a weird one. But basically, it makes him almost a servant to her and her wishes and her demands. And she needs that because, of course, right now she is just a head and part of a torso. So she needs somebody to do her bidding. This creature, this woman creature, needs to feed, but she doesn't want food. She requires things of more substance, let's say, like human flesh and things of that nature. Because what she does is she'll eat parts of a human being and absorb that into herself. And as she does so, she starts recreating herself. She starts growing back into a full-fledged woman. And this man helps her along to a certain point, and you'll read about that later in the book. But this is also the story about our main protagonist, who was in a car accident. And this car accident not only left a very vicious scar on the side of her face, but gave her amnesia. She doesn't remember anything that happened before this accident. She has several friends that they haven't spoken in years. But certain things start to happen. Certain events transpire. And she begins to realize that her friends know something about another friend of theirs. A friend that for some reason, she can remember all the rest of her friends, but for some reason she can't remember Oksana, however you pronounce it. She can't remember her for some reason. And she gets the feeling that her and her friends in the past, which she don't remember, have done something horrible to Oksana. And pretty soon her friends start getting picked off one by one in the most bloody, terrible, horrifying ways possible. And she starts to go and investigate what they might have done when they were at that boarding school and how it affects all of them now, how all of their lives might be in danger. And it's really hard to describe this book without giving away too many spoilers, and I don't want to do that. But let's just say that this woman creature is out for revenge against the people who have done something horrible to her. And she is going to get her revenge in the most brutal way possible for these people. But there is an element at the end where we find out exactly who this woman creature is, how she's capable of doing what she's doing, about her feeding habits, and how the whole reconstruction of her body happens. And it's just, that's really all I'm going to say about it, because it's a fantastic, fantastic book. It's weird in a way, but it's also very frightening. The story moves along very well. You won't lose your place. You'll never be confused. You know what's happening with all of the characters. You can feel their dread and the tension as things are revealed, and again, people start dying in brutal fashion. And our protagonist's search to find out if she in fact did something that she can't remember, and if she is at all responsible for the deaths of all her friends that are happening. We also have a detective who's on the case, who happens to find, some of the bodies. The man at the beginning that originally found the head, he does something to a neighbor's dog that sets this detective on his trail. And in trying to find this man's trail, he's also aware that there is something not of this world going on. It's a very tight, well-told, engaging novel, and you won't want to take your eyes off the page, because when you get to those moments and you think, how is this possible? What is going to be the reason for all this? And then you get to it. It's such a thrill and such a joy to read, and it'll make you shiver. It'll give you the chills. There's certainly enough blood in there for all you gore hounds out there, as always. And just a well-told, well-crafted narrative that'll have you on the edge of your seat, not wanting to stop turning those pages. This is a real winner, and it might have gotten under a lot of people's radar, I think, because, there's been so much good horror that came out this year. And continuing on, there's some really good horror coming out before the end of this year is even over. And don't miss this one. Be sure to pick up your copy, and I'll leave a link down below to Amazon if you want to do that. Head Like a Hole. It is fantastic, and I highly recommend it. And also down below, check out all my links. You can buy my book, sign up for my newsletter, join me on social media, and read all my free stories over on Wattpad. And as always, I want to say thank you for taking some of your time and spending it here with me. I really appreciate you guys watching. And until we meet again, keep reading spooky, my friends.